Tell us, how in the world did this deal that was made on Friday night get called off on Tuesday?
Well, this is about a medical issue, Greeny, and this is about how different sides interpret the condition of Maxx Crosby's knee, which underwent surgery 8 weeks ago. He was on crutches until just last week. Now, in speaking with his doctor who performed the surgery, Neil Elatrosh, overnight, he felt like the timing of the physical could have been pushed back. But he does believe that Maxx Crosby is on schedule, and they're hoping to have him ready for the start of the regular season. But the issue is, Maxx Crosby was in Baltimore on Tuesday for a physical. He met with doctors. Doctors took scans. Doctors looked at scans. And based on what they saw, the Ravens did not feel comfortable to pass him on that physical, which nullified the trade. Obviously, there are outside doctors that consulted as well, including the Cowboys surgeon, Dr. Cooper, who performed the surgery on Patrick Mahomes, who performed the surgery on Malik Neighbors, who many teams and NFL players look to for guidance. So if and when the Ravens decided to back out of the deal, it also came after consulting with the Cowboys doctor, Dr. Cooper, whatever was said. Now, the Raiders feel like the Ravens got cold feet. But the Ravens feel like they had a huge purchase. They invested 2 first-round draft picks, and once they had him in their building and reviewed all the tests, they were not comfortable moving ahead. The only analogy I could use is if you were to go buy a brand new house and it looked beautiful and you toured it online, and then you agreed to purchase the home, and you had an inspector come through who said he was worried about this and worried about that, would it make you nervous about executing that deal? Probably. And the Baltimore Ravens didn't like what they heard, and they backed out of the deal. So now that leaves us, as the new league year opens today, in certainly an unusual spot, because Maxx Crosby is now a Raider. His money is back on their books. They're honoring their contracts. And the Ravens now don't have their pass rusher, but they have their first-round picks.
This whole thing is absolutely positively insane and is just ridiculous. Truly, truly, truly ridiculous. The fact that these things can even happen. This highlights such a fatal flaw in how this whole process works, because as Orlovsky discussed on First Take, this absolutely screws over the Las Vegas Raiders. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. Yeah, they can afford Maxx Crosby this year, but this is about the Raiders long term. This is about the fact that they were going to have 4 first-round picks over these next 2 years. They need not only do you want those draft picks to build your team, but also then in terms of to balance out the books in terms of the salary cap. And now what are the options with the Raiders right now? I mean, like this whole thing is insane. And of course, Maxx Crosby is going to be fine come September. This whole nonsense about oh, well, they didn't like what they saw and this or that. I am calling absolute BS on that. I am calling absolute BS on that. This whole thing is just clearly the Ravens got cold feet and wanted Trey Hendrickson. That's clearly what happened. Clearly what happened, and it absolute pay all this money in free agency, everything's all confirmed, but because it's technically not official now you can kind of back out the whole thing is an absolute mess and a farce and is not the Raiders' fault whatsoever. And I when I made my breaking news video when this all first originally broke, people were kind of laughing about it. Some people were. And it's just you guys, this is a disgrace. This is not a normal way of conducting business. This is something that everyone should be furious about. The fans, the media, the players. This is no way to operate. This is no way to operate. None. The whole thing is absurd. The whole thing is absurd. And so now moving forward, I am really curious to see what the Las Vegas Raiders do, because here's what Orlovsky talking about it in relation to that. I do think it's just that one of those what changed because in the initial trade, you know that the surgery happened. You had to know, talking to the people representing Maxx Crosby, the Raiders, that he had just recently got off the crutches. So, what did you expect the physical was going to look like? I'm not a doctor, but what changed in that time period? Mad Dog's 100% right. The Raiders are completely screwed here. They are the team that is getting the complete short end of the stick. And it's everyone's going, well, they can afford Maxx this year. It's not just this year that is really a play for the Raiders. The Raiders as of yesterday morning in this free agency process were going about the thought process or with the thought process that they have 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. 4. That completely changes the way that you operate the now and the future to build for the likely young first overall pick in Fernando Mendoza. Now it's completely a different conversation. So that, yeah. And the fact that a team can get pushed into a corner like this, when all of this breaks, I'm just like, how is this even possible? How is this allowed? How is this the process that unfolds in this way? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense how something like this can happen. It just doesn't. There needs to be a system in place to ensure these things don't happen. I do think the Raiders will find their way through it. And I do think, man, vengeance. The calling card for the Las Vegas Raiders is going to be Batman. It's vengeance. I mean, this, oh gosh. This could end up being one of the best things to ever happen to the Las Vegas Raiders because I think they're just going to be on the hunt. They might not get exactly what they wanted before, but they are going to be on. And any team that gets Maxx Crosby, Maxx Crosby is going to be on the hunt. So, I still find this absolutely stunning. I really do. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Maxx Crosby? And you know, how this whole thing happened with the Las Vegas Raiders. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, whether you agree with me or disagree with me either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.